Well, hello, my Mafians. You are listening to the Too Clever Mafia podcast, and you guessed it, I am your host, Too Clever Mafia. Say hello to AJ over my sound booth. Hello, AJ. Yeah. Hi, AJ brings us all the great intros, and another great intro today. As usual, AJ, thank you very much for your talented musical efforts on our podcast. And I don't say that enough, AJ. I really don't, but you are truly appreciated. No, I'm not buttering up to you. I understand. Last episode I was a little snappy, but that happens when you get to be my age, right? Anyway, but we've got a real treat today. You know, there's two things Too Clever Mafia doesn't really chat about too much. Politics and religion. I tend to try to stay away from those. Not because I can't talk about them. It's because some people are so one side or the other, or so strongly attached to whatever their beliefs are that sometimes they're not interested in hearing other people's opinions. They are who they are. They want to be who they want to be. Their opinions are what they're going to be, and it's one of those things. Well, hey, it just goes back to my too clever philosophy. You do you, I'll do me. We'll worry about we'll kind of meet in the middle where we're less different. We'll focus on what we have more similar. But today, and it's not going to be a political show. We're not going to be talking names, but our episode today is, what does the President of the United States of America do? That's the question we're going to be asking. And we're going to go over quite a few things. I'm going to tell you what I think he does. And, more than likely I'm 100% wrong. I don't know. But I got to tell you, is it a job that people actually want? I mean, when I was a kid, and when my kids were kids, that was the top job. That was the job that you say, hey, you could do anything you want. You can be president of the United States of America. And that was the job everybody wanted. And is it still that way today? I don't know. I really don't. I'm going to give you my opinions as usual. And some of our listeners have chimed in, and we're gonna go over some of our tweets and Facebook messages, and what else we got? Instagram posts and YouTube comments and all that fun stuff. And we're gonna talk about it. We are gonna lay it out there today. So don't forget to check us out over on www.tooclevermafia.com. All the fun stuff over there, and like and subscribe. Yeah, we need you to like and subscribe. You have to. You really don't have a choice. Like and subscribe, will you? No, I'm just kidding. You have a choice, and we do appreciate the choice you're making listening to our show. So help us out by liking and subscribing to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, our YouTube, where we've got our behind the scenes footage and me playing PUBG. And by the way, if you do follow us, kind of off the topic, and if you follow us on PUBG, which is a video game that I play over and I record it and we put it up on the YouTube channel, I won. I won my last match. So AJ's a little bit delaying getting that up on the YouTube for some reason. I think it might be because he's jealous, but I won a round of PUBG, which is not, for me anyway, it's not too easy. Not too easy to do. So I'm pretty proud of that, and that we filmed it. I'm even prouder of it. So maybe we'll get that up there soon, AJ. Right. But if you'd like to contribute to our show, you like what we do, head over to Patreon, Too Clever Mafia, and feel free to donate anything you wish. We'll take whatever pennies you want to drop us. And Teespring, of course, we have our, we're going to have to update we're going to do like a season 1, season 2. I don't know if we're going to do that on this podcast. I think we're just going to kind of keep going. But we're going to come up with a new logo. So if you want the old logo, I would get it before it's gone. But if you want my mug on a mug, T-shirt, sweater, sweatpants, the fall is going to be here before you know it, to autumn. So you might want to get a little bit of comfier, warmer clothing for the wintertime, heading into the cooler seasons, right? But, and if you listen to us over on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Bullhorn, any of those, wherever you listen to us, don't remember to like and subscribe, because with the podcast links, you don't really get the comments and all that fun stuff. So we do appreciate you liking and subscribing. And we do pick listeners from time to time, and people that like and subscribe. You have to be, according to AJ, you have to be like and subscribe to all of our major social medias and at least one of our podcasts to be an eligible contestant, right? For the prizes that we're giving away, T-shirts, things like that. So don't want to miss out. Don't want to miss out, definitely. And we will be right back with our show today. We're going to get right into it after a short break, and it's going to be what the President of the United States of America does from Too Clever Mafia's perspective, obviously. We'll be right back. Hello, my Mafians. Hello, AJ. Welcome back. Welcome back to everyone. You are listening to the Too Clever Mafia podcast. I am your host, as always, Too Clever Mafia. Thank you again, AJ, for another lovely intro. And we got a hot one for you today, right, AJ? We got a hot one set up, and we're gonna dive right into this. And I was almost surprised you didn't play "Hail to the Chief" there as my intro music, right? Yeah. No, this is gonna get political, folks. No, I don't know. I don't think so. We're gonna go through some of these tweets, and hopefully, AJ, you've screened them. No, you haven't. No. Okay. Well, either way. So welcome everyone. And today we something came to me. You know, everybody knows in America, in the USA, the elections are coming up in November. All right, November, we were electing, I would imagine, multiple officials in different facets and parts of the government, right? But the President of the United States is up for re-election, and it's up for grabs, if you want to say, no pun intended. Brought us to this position, this place of wanting to talk about what the President of the United States does. And the reason being is when we were young, people, that's what you aspire to be, right, AJ? I mean, well, I don't know about you, but, myself and my kids as well, that was the job. You can be anybody you wanted to be. You could be President of the United States if you work hard at it, you do well in school. How much of the reality of that was true? I don't know. I think you need to have a lot of money. First off, now to, looking back, I'm thinking you got to have some money, right? You have to some connection somewhere. You have to get into the government, right? Most people, you've got to be involved. Either have a lot of money or you got to be involved in the government or ahead of time, start in what Congress and Senate and up. But first of all, who wants the job now? I know, your incumbent president wants to get reelected. And then the other side, in America, we have, two major parties. You have your Democrats and your Republicans. And there's some independents thrown around in the middle. But they never really have the votes that are needed, along with, and the way we vote with the Electoral College, it's almost unheard of that an independent would win any, in modern day. But who would do? And I don't know, AJ. I mean, you could tell me this maybe, but are kids still looking at it and saying, in school, school age kids saying, hey, that's the job I want. Astronaut, maybe, and that was another one. Do you want to be a policeman, a fireman, an astronaut, president of the United States? Those are all the jobs that you wanted to really, that meant something. Becoming a scientist. What is a nuclear scientist? Rocket scientist, right? Those are those professions that people are like, hey, I'm going to do that. And then the really smart ones would go that direction and try to get that job, right? But I don't know. I don't know if nowadays that's the jobs people. I mean, I think in my opinion, I think kids these days, maybe, especially with all of the social media and all of that, they want to be influencers. They want to be celebrities. They want to be stars, movie stars, or a lot of them, athletes, maybe. I think still athletes might still be there because they tend to make a lot of money. And if you're good and you practice hard, you make it to the big leagues, you can do well. what time do you think the president gets up? 3, 4, 5 a.m., right? What do you think? I'm going to go with 5 a.m. It may be earlier, maybe later. I don't know. If it's a weekend, I don't know how that works. Do they get to sleep in on a Sunday? I don't know. But let's say he gets up at 5 a.m. and first thing they do, what do you think? Yeah, I think they probably would get some sort of daily briefing, right? Probably, and these are things that they don't even teach children. So that nowadays, so you don't even know. I mean, you want to be an astronaut, you go to the moon. What does the president do? You don't know. You don't know. I mean, I'm sure they do a lot, but what do they do? What is the job description? And I feel like that, unfortunately, is a bigger thing because, we want to be a politician of any kind. Is there a job description anywhere? Has anybody ever seen one? Has anybody ever, I mean, if they have, email it to me. I'd love to see it, what the job description of any political person is, from governor to like, where does it say, hey, this is what you got to do? Or is it just, hey, you're management now. You do what you need to do and you do what you want to do, And who's, don't got a job description. Who's to say you're doing your job and who's to say you're not? Who's to say, there's no handbook, other than, I guess you could say the Constitution and the laws, but like, what do you do? How do you go about your day? I guess, and is when one president to the next, regardless of who it is, they're going to want to do the job differently. And in some areas, they're not going to follow their predecessor all the time. So what do you do? How do you do your job? But my guess is they get up, there's some sort of briefing, right, AJ, I would imagine. And they probably have meeting after meeting, whether it's on the phone or in person. And you need to know, I would imagine, again, just a guess, but you need to know everything about anything and everything and have people that you can rely on that know the information so you can call on them at a moment's notice if something comes up. And there's things, I mean, there's got to be, I don't say a million, but imagine how many things are going on at once in the world, from international affairs to domestic stuff, crises of all kinds, natural disasters, threats from other countries, all of that, trade, all of that stuff is going on, all at once. I mean, as the president, I've never been a CEO of a company, but I can tell you, you've got basically one business for the most part. You're running, right, as a CEO, but as the president, you're running multiple. It's nuts. So, I mean, being a good businessman would help, but you need to know people. You need to be able to get some good people in those spots that can be depended upon and relied upon. And if you don't have those people, or even in some cases you do, and then it turns out, you don't have those people, it can be troublesome really, really fast. And then, you've got to find someone. And if you don't know the answers and you don't know, how do you know who you're hiring is the right person for the job? Aside from knowing everything about anything and having people that can help you with those things, all the traveling you do, think about it. Recently the president went, he had to visit, there was a disaster out in the Midwest. I think it was a storm, cut through and damaged some things. And, he got up in the morning, that wasn't in his plan the week before. The storm didn't happen. So, you got to get on a plane, you got to fly out there. You got to deal with all the Secret Service stuff, all that crazy stuff. And you got to do what you got to do to talk to, people and see, and you're traveling all the time. And, I went on vacation not too long ago. We rented an RV and there was a podcast episode we did previously about it. We knew once we got to where we were going, Miss Mafia and I, that there was no way we were going to be able to get any additional supplies other than what we had in the RV, because once we connected the RV up to all the power and all that stuff in the water, we were going to leave it there, and we didn't bring another vehicle, so we were kind of stuck there. So and it was a lot. We were worried. I was writing down list after list to make sure I have everything. And can you imagine just having to travel at a moment's notice and not, what if you forget toothpaste? What if you can't just run out to the store and say, hey, I'm going to go to the CVS and get a couple of things I need, but the president can't do that. So obviously there's people that can do that for him, but I don't understand why somebody would even want that job anymore, or you in general, not even anymore, just in general. I mean, when, you work 24/7, no privacy at all, right? You have to have 24/7 security, right? You have to have Secret Service protecting you all the time. And you're going to have politicians from all walks of life always trying to get something that they need to fix their problems. And I feel most politicians, regardless of where you stand, they're going to use others to solve their problem any way they can, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And you got to be careful. You don't want to be the collateral damage of any of that stuff. The media of the modern era, I mean, they're just a beast. Back in my day, you got a bad headline in a newspaper or two, if people even read it, it was what it was. And if it was not correct, the newspaper a few days later would write a retraction of some sort and put it on the back page. But nowadays, you're under the microscope. You really are, right? I mean, yeah. Yeah, and anything you do in the media is always trying to get their next big story, right? So to entertain their viewers. And the story has to, lately I've been seeing, and this is no aim at any particular news group, but all of the news I've seen across the board, I tend to try to watch a variety of different channels and different points of view. But all of the news has a lot more flair than it seems to be actual truth. Now, gone are the days of reporting as a journalist and being honest and truthful and having, the integrity of just the facts and staying away from I don't want to hear your opinion as a journalist. Tell me what the facts are and let me decide for myself. I don't need your sway, I'll figure it out. I'll watch, collect all my data from multiple sources. Or do people not do that anymore? They don't want to. They don't have the time. They don't collect they don't go around looking around for all the different data. They just want to, hey, you tell me what the news is. That way I can repeat it to my buddy at lunch. And that's it. That's the extent of my investigation. Yep. Yep. And the other thing is that the president's job in the U.S., it pays next to nothing. I mean, it pays a decent amount of money compared to what me and I guess maybe most of my listeners, it pays a lot of money, really, I guess. But considering the people that end up being president, it doesn't pay much. It doesn't pay much. And most of them, when I say them, the presidents, they're donating a lot of their salary, all if not most of it, to charities, and they're not even taking it. So what are they doing it for? They're doing it for the power. They're doing it to say, hey, I was president of the United States, which is what, again, my generation and, the generation after that, aspired to be. But what are people going to do it for in the future? They're not going to do it for the money. They're going to do it for what? Because it's the best job in the world? No. You had to deal with that type of scrutiny every single day of your life. And then, you want to run for re-election, again, do the whole thing over. And they unturn every stone, every nook and cranny of your life, every relative, people that you don't even know, they find. And they, the opposing team always tries to make it seem, find an Achilles heel in your armor. Is that even the right way, AJ? No. But who knows? Who knows? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. And I'd love to get your feedback from this. Definitely check us out on Twitter at Tooclevermafia and Facebook, Tooclevermafia, Tooclevermafia. And leave us your thoughts. Go to YouTube, comment as well. We, like and subscribe. We enjoy having your listenership. But I love for somebody to make some sense of this to me. I really would. It's a very perplexing idea to want to be president of the country anymore, and it's not having nothing to do with being a patriot or loving your country. It's just why would you want to do that job? You got no free time. It's it's not a free life by any means if you look at it, and that's the irony of it, because the president of the United States of America is considered the leader of the free world, yet they're anything but free. It's a calling, I guess. Yeah, AJ just said it's probably a calling that certain people have, and yeah, it is. It is. I mean, the motivation has got to be beyond. It's definitely beyond what I can comprehend. I mean, you're responsible for 300 million people plus just in the U.S., and then you have all the other countries that are actually depending on you for aid and assistance when they have natural disasters hit, all that kind of assistance that we offer different countries in the world, and that's millions and millions more. So I don't know. I was going to say, AJ, what do you think? So actually, I'm gonna. And I know you're not mic'd up, but I can hear you, and I'll relay the message. But do you think your generation, your 20 somethings, do you feel amongst you, not necessarily you, let's say, but your peers, do you feel that that top job you could get, when you went to college was, president of the United States? Was that something that was obtainable, or you felt that was something that you wanted, and your generation may have wanted, or is it just not on the table anymore? It's not even like, hey, it's like who aspires to be, a gutter cleaner or whatever you are, but you know, you do what you got to do to make money, and there's nothing wrong with it. But oh, okay, okay. So AJ just sent me over a list here on the screen. I'm going to look at it. It's the top jobs of 2020. These are the best jobs that people want, and they're shooting for in 2020. You want to guess? And the number one is software developer. Huh, yeah, AJ. Wait a minute. Are you a software developer as well? Yeah, you are, right? Yeah, he's got some of those skills. That's good. Number two is dentist. Well, I guess I could see that because dentist is, you're not really a doctor, but you don't have to deal with some of that stuff. It's probably a little easier in the physician's assistant is up there. Orthodontist, again, the dental office. Nurse practitioner. Okay, you're not a doctor, but you kind of are. Can write those prescriptions. Nurse practitioner. Statistician. Okay, that sounds fun. Physician is on the list. Now, doctor was always one when I was young as well, so that's back on the list. And the best job of 2020. This is by who's this? U.S. News, I think. Back early in the year, this is from. But speech language pathologist. Didn't see that one coming, or hear it coming. Haha. No. But president isn't on there anymore. Maybe we should try searching for a different type of list. Maybe. What do you think, AJ? Okay, here's another list. Also, I don't even know who this is by. Okay, so these are okay, this is a little older, but let me look at here. So we have top dream jobs from kids for kids. Doesn't give you an age group here, but I guess based on teachers and stuff. But number one is veterinarian. Okay, doctor and nurse is number two. Professional athlete. That's what I said earlier. Ballerina, police officer, firefighter, and pilot. No president. No president. That's and here's another list. Just I'm trying to find something here about the president, but I don't see anything. 22 most common childhood dream jobs. Actors on this one. Archaeologist, all of those Indiana Jones fans. Artist, astronaut, like I said, athlete, chef is on there, dancer, or detective investigator. That has a lot to do with, I don't know if it was Dick Tracy, maybe. No. A lot of the other TV shows that have CSI, maybe, or what's that other one? A Law and Order. That's another. I'm just trying to find it. No, I don't see any. All of these lists, and I've got dozens of them here, from adults to children. Nobody wants to be president of the United States of America. What does that say? That's to me, it says that it's a hard job. It's a thankless job. It's a hard job, and it's you really have to. I feel you either have to love this country beyond anybody's wildest beliefs, because you're doing it for free, and you've got to and you really want to take on that challenge that you've succeeded everything else in life, and you just want to be able to, at the end of the day, say, hey, I was president of the United States of America. Or the other reason is you want to be able to say, you want the control for some other reasons, whether it's financial control over things or whatnot. And I don't know. I don't know. And this is my armchair philosophy, as I call it. Um, I keep talking like that. I'm going to need a speech pathologist. Keep stumbling on my words over here, AJ. But uh, good luck. Good luck to whoever wins the presidency in America in November. Um, and it's a thankless job, but it's a hard job, and it's definitely I would imagine it takes its toll on you as an individual as well. But I don't know. I don't know if Too Clever Mafia would ever want to be president. But I want my kids to be president. I don't know. Maybe. I got out to the coffee shop and I tell Ronnie and Phil and say, "Hey, Phil, guess whose son's the president?" It'd probably make you feel, guess whose grandkid is the president. Yeah, I'd probably feel pretty happy about that. Who knows? So check us out, folks. We're going to take a little break here. I'm going to wet my whistle. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You're going to hear that from me every day until you like and subscribe. And we'll be right back after this short break. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Too Clever Mafia podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Too Clever Mafia, and AJ is the man over in the sound booth. Thank you again, AJ, for another great introduction. And today, we kind of dove into it. I'm going to wait for those responses to come in through Twitter, and we're going to get another conversation going, maybe do a part 2. But I'm curious of who wants to be president of the United States. That really was my intention today, and to see if that job still has the lure that it once had. And as I didn't want to start a whole new segment here, but we did kind of dive into government, and along with government, one of the big things with the government is the taxes. And why do we pay taxes? That was a question that I had that came up on Twitter, and we sometimes pay taxes on the same item multiple times. A business buys a product, they pay tax on it to whoever they're coming from, the manufacturer, I guess, and then the business sells the product to the consumer. The consumer then pays a tax on it, sales tax usually. Then the business pays another tax because it's an income tax on the profits they made. And then if that consumer then goes and tries to sell that same product, let's say on an eBay or someplace like that, then they got to pay tax again on the product, even though it may have been used. And if you leave that product to somebody in an estate, you're going to pay an estate tax. So and then it goes around again. If the person tries to sell it used, and you're paying taxes on the same item multiple times sometimes. And as president, their job is to make sure that the money is, Congress's job is to ensure they hold the purse strings, so to speak. But the president has to oversee all of that and making sure the American public's tax money is being spent appropriately and to manage all those funds. But what bothers me is in the state that I live in, and it's New Jersey. Recently, the governor proposed a tax on several things, including cigarettes, certain permits, things like that, to increase revenue because there's a shortfall in the government. But I feel like they waste the money that comes in, because not too long ago we had I think it was almost 75 cents a gas tax they added on top of the original one. And where did that money go? I mean, that's millions and millions of dollars that we didn't have before. Where did it go? Are they allocating these funds before they even spend it, or when they spend it, you put this money in the bank, save it. Save it for times like these when we need more money, when the state's not doing well because businesses are closed down and people are not working. They've got to fund unemployment, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of the finances of the state of where I live, but I can tell you, adding, I think one of them was $1. I could be wrong on this, folks, but it was $1 something, maybe $1.50 or plus a tax additional on a pack of cigarettes. Now, they're going after the cigarettes because people will just keep buying them and buying them. The government will just keep paying. Same as gasoline. You really have not much of a choice, So the government sells it. We sell a lot. People sell a lot of gas and a lot of tobacco products, and people keep buying them, and they're going to continue to buy them. They're not going to stop buying them. It's not discouraging anyone. It's just the government's saying, "Hey, you guys are going to buy this stuff. We're going to tax it because people aren't going to be too upset that we tax these things." Fossil fuel and tobacco, but we're not taxing things. There's a main highway that runs up and down the state. A couple of them. One of them is a parkway, and that was supposed to be free once it was all set up and going. And now, just to get on it, to go from one exit to the next, is a couple of bucks to get there and back, and that's not right. It reminds me. There's a bridge in New York. There's a bridge. It's the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. It's a very long suspension bridge for automobiles to travel across. It's a double-decker bridge, and I forget the year that they built it. It was a long time ago, in the 1900s. But when they built it, they told the people of the borough of Staten Island, because it connects Staten Island, New York borough to Brooklyn, New York, and another borough, one of the 5 boroughs of the New York City kind of area. When you have Manhattan, and you have Queens, and then in the Bronx, right? So it connects the two, and they were told that when that bridge was completed, it would be free. It would, we're going to charge you tolls, and then when the tolls are now, first of all, that's out the window, and now, like, people have no choice but to cross that bridge if they want to get to where they want to go. And I haven't checked AJ lately, but it was like $20 or something like that. Or, I mean, it's a one way. They collect toll. They used to collect tolls on both sides. Now they just collect them on one side. So, but I just don't understand why. The government will just keep taking that money, and they're always painting that bridge from start to finish. When by the time they end, they've already started painting it again. But it's one of those things where they tell you what they got to tell you up front to get your vote, and then they just move along and forget about it. They told you that. It's, I don't know. I'm trying to look it up here. Let me see if I can look up the current toll on this bridge, because, it'll probably change next week. But, okay, so the toll is $19 US. There's all kinds of different fares in here, but, wow. It's $19. I guess you have to use Easy Pass, like the automated toll systems. But this is $19 for someone to cross it over. No, that's for a bridge. You're crossing over a bridge. $19 per car, and how many cars go over that bridge at once? I think. Oh, okay. I'm reading here in an article they want to split the bridge back up again and have pay each way, $9.50 each way. I'm going to set up the tolls each way. It doesn't matter anymore at the automated toll service. They just throw up a thing, and here's it from 2018. People are complaining because it went up to $17. Oh boy! But that kind of thing, like that's government just using and abusing the American people and making them pay. And I'm not anti-government or anything like that, but somebody's got to stand up and say, "Hey, wait a minute, this isn't right." Figure out another way. Save this money. Stop wasting it on things we don't need. How many times you pass a construction site and you see 15 people standing out there doing nothing, and one guy's digging the hole? All the time. And where I live, all the time. And not to knock construction people, because they're hard workers, but some of these sites, they have so many people. Half of them are doing nothing. And, we're paying for that. Why? They need to introduce more efficiency, and I guess efficiency in government as far on the opposite end of the spectrum as you can get. But, with all the bureaucracy and red tape and everything that has to be done. But the government can remove those things. Politicians can vote and create laws and strike them down and remove laws or things that were put in place that made things more difficult for people to I guess for government to properly use those funds. I mean, I've heard things that, like, for a stapler, that government offices, like a stapler in a government office, they get billed $100 for them. For a regular swing line that you can buy in the office supply store for $5. Like, is anybody looking into that? And the government just, I don't know how it works as far as I'm sure there's contracts and bidding for certain products and services, but then, these people have to be checked and regulated as far as, I mean, I'm not all for regulation in the right places, but you can't just let the government go and spend willy-nilly. I mean, and who's going to, is it, AJ, that's probably not the president, right? These are probably, I mean, at the end of the day, the president is just the guy that, puts a stamp of approval on things, I guess, but it's really your legislative bodies, right? Your Congress and your Senate. These are the folks that are writing the laws. The president doesn't write laws. He can veto them, but he doesn't write them. I know they have the executive orders that they write when things can't get settled, but those are temporary. But we need our government officials to start stepping up and writing laws that help the American people. They don't just write up a bill and a law because you want your name on it to get some publicity. To say, hey, I did this and I did that. Don't do that. Why? All right. So enough of the rant, right, AJ? Yeah. I think AJ fell asleep over there. I'm not really sure. AJ, you hear me? Wave if you can hear me. Okay, I hear you. Okay, so what I want to do, we created a new ad. We created a new Tooclevermafia podcast ad, which, quite honestly, I'm pretty proud of. I created this all on my own. Yep, I didn't get any help writing it. I wrote it. I don't usually write and script things out, but I was able to do what needed to be done to get the ad, and it had to be. I think it had to be under I forget what we were doing, AJ. Do you remember what I was submitted it for? I think it was some contest or commercial. Somebody wanted it for something, and I had to submit a 60-second ad for the show. And I said, well, how do I describe the Tooclevermafia show, So can we, get that ready. Get that ready to be queued up here, AJ. I want to play it to the listeners and see if I get some feedback from them. Okay, ready, AJ? All right, yeah.
Hello, everyone. I am Tooclevermafia, the host of the Tooclevermafia podcast. And did you ever think finding the right podcast is like finding a perfect pair of jeans? Well, every Friday night, put on the Tooclevermafia podcast, sit back, relax, and let me accentuate all of your curves in just the right places. I will be your favorite pair of jeans. Yeah. You can wear anytime, anywhere, as I talk about almost anything and everything that is on my mind. But I try to keep it PG.
That's true.
Relax while I bring some of my old school nuances to today's popular topics. I'm a straight talking, shoot from the hip, regular guy. Along with my unique too clever attitude and my distinctive back in my day style, you may just learn a few things. Our show features exclusive interviews, crazy discussions about popular culture, and current events, social media, life tips from experts, including myself, and more. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yeah. So what'd you think of that, AJ? That was pretty good, right? Well, you helped with some of the editing, but I think that came out pretty well. Pretty well made. I mean, I'm not hurting my arm, patting myself on the back, but at the end of the day, I think that came out pretty well. I like the pair of jeans part. Yeah, that was one of my favorite. Yeah, let me. Why don't you try on some jeans? No. I mean, I was referencing the show as if I was the perfect pair of jeans. You understand? No, yeah. So people would say, you know what? Yo, he's comfy, like a great pair of comfy jeans. But I should have probably said sweatpants, really, because I'm comfortable like a pair of sweatpants. But anyway, so Don't forget to head over to www.tooclevermafia.com. Like and subscribe to all our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, because if you do that, you just might win a prize. And we're switching over. We're going to be switching over our merchandise site as well. So if you're looking for some new stuff, hang on, because we're not going to be using our current supplier. We had a little falling out. Yeah, falling out with them, AJ. I know. We'll get it. We'll tell everybody, like we always do. There's no secrets here, but we'll let everybody know what happened with our merchandise supplier. And if you're interested in donating, well, I should just give you, I'll just give you my PayPal account. Should I do that, AJ? No? No, I'm just kidding. You can always head over to Patreon. Maybe we'll we've had a couple of listeners say, hey, can we switch over to PayPal or some other payment service? And we'd love to give you some donations through there and have some other options. And, we're considering it. We're definitely considering it. And as always, listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google+, Apple Podcast, Breaker, Bullhorn. Like and subscribe on the podcast. It really helps us out. And I think we're going to wrap it up today. Don't forget to go to Twitter. Let us know how you like our advertisement. Probably give away a T-shirt or a mug. I got a whole bunch of them here. And got the masks are going to be coming out soon, like I said earlier in today's episode. And that's all. You got anything else, AJ? No? No, of course not. Of course not. So I am Too Clever Mafia. You are listening to the Too Clever Mafia podcast. And that is all I have to say about that, my Mafians. Until next time, take care for now.